Hey, this is KC Lights. I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process on how I wrote my track A Million Miles that I did exclusively for this Sonic Academy tutorial session. So as you can see here, I've opened up a blank project on FL Studio and I'm going to start off with drums. Now sometimes when I'm writing a new track, I'll start with, I'll throw in a vocal and cut it up a bit, or if I've got a melodic idea in my head or a chord progression, I want to get that down first and move from there. Or sometimes it's good just to get some drums down, put a beat together first, and then kind of let things come to you that way. But we're going to start off with drums in this one. So BPM, I'm going to have to set that to 124. There's a bit of a swing in this one, not too much, just going to set that to 27%. Just gives a bit of a groove, it's not too heavy. And I'm going to put a limiter at plus 5 dB on my master channel. The reason I'm doing this is because I generally don't really have a mixing stage at the end. I'll just kind of mix things as I go along, and I generally mix quite quietly. But I just prefer when I've got those kind of loud sections in the track. It's just find it a lot more comfortable to work with when I've got that extra headspace. But it's just so that it's a reasonable level that when I'm working on it, I'll set it to plus 5 dB to start with. So drums, we're going to start off with kick drum, and I'm going to layer, in this track I've layered it with 2 kicks, one deep bass kick and a higher kick to sit on top of that. So I've got a kick there, I'm going to just name that bass kick. I'm going to assign that to a channel in my mixer, and well, I'm going to rename this pattern actually first of all, kick, and fill that in there. So the way we're going to layer this is really pretty simple. I use the Fab Filter stuff a lot, by the way. It's really good, particularly limiter and compressor. So I'm going to cut this off at the bottom, 30 Hz. The reason being, you know, our ears don't pick up, and as far as I've been told, our ears don't pick up anything below 30 Hz anyway. So there's no need for anything below there, it just becomes messy. And the top of there, I'm going to cut that at 150 Hz. And you'll hear now, just got that kind of deep, yeah. So we've just got that kind of deep bass kick there that we hear. So now I'm going to have to layer another kick on top of that. That's going to take over from on top of that kick from 150 Hz upwards. Now for this kick, I'm going to use the Sonic Academy Kick 2 plugin, which is really cool. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do in here. I'm pretty new to it, so I'm not going to go into too many details, but I just use it for the high-end kick on this one. And before I even get my sound, I know what I want to do with this, like I've just mentioned. So we're going to set that to assign that to a channel in the mixer. We're going to cut off the bottom end of this at 150 Hz, and that should make up my kick quite nicely. So now I need to find the sound that I want, and I've just used, you can download cool artist presets on the Sonic Academy website as well, and I think I've just used one of these ones. I'm sure it was this one. Let's have a listen. Yeah, it's just got a nice clicky top end. So just something to bear in mind actually. Like I said, I mix as I go along, but really something to remember is your greatest tool is your ears. That's a bit cliche, but I'll spend hours sometimes just listening through everything and just making sure it's the way I want it. Not because you watched a tutorial somewhere that told you something should be a certain way. Just always trust your ears. So within kick 2, I'm not going to do too much of that because I like it the way it is already. I'm just going to add a little bit of distortion. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. So there we go, I've got my kick. Now I need to put in my sidechain. So what I do is I just clone the bass kick there, rename that sidechain, assign that to a channel 1 mixer as well, a new channel, and I'm going to add the Fruity Peak controller. Now I always have use a separate kind of ghost sidechain that just works alongside the kick most of the time anyway, but the reason I do this, just sometimes if you want a sidechain on its own, if you want to or obviously if you wanted to kick without a sidechain, it just gives you that bit of flexibility. So it's not going to peak too much, the sidechain, so I'm setting that about 42%, and the volume, again, we don't want a heavy sidechain in this track, so I'm just going to set that 143%. Okay, so I've got my kick. In fact, I'm just going to paste that into paste that in there, and I'm going to get my clap now. So I'm going to start a new pattern, label this clap, and well, there we go. Clap. So I found a clap sound here that I liked and just felt worked with the track. Don't need to do too much of it. I'm pretty happy with the way that sounds already. I'm just going to stick a bit of reverb on it, and I'm using the Fruity Reverb tool here. I use a lot of the kind of in-house Fruity plugins. I suppose it's just what you're used to. I just really like the way they sound, and it works for the sound that I want to create. So again, like I mentioned before, just use your ears, just experiment, just like listen to the way that sounds over and over again, and just adjust all these settings until you're happy with the way it sounds. So I don't want too much of a decay on that, so I'm going to take that down a bit. There we go. So I'll pop that in there. And again, I'm going to set this at level from the offset that I'm happy with. Okay, so now I need to find my open hi-hat. So this is just kind of the basic percussion I'm starting with, and then I'm just going to move on from there and get a bit more rhythmical and add in some extra percussion after that. So a new channel, open hat, and again I found an open hi-hat there that I just really like the sound of and just works for this track. So I'll rename that open hat, assign that to a channel 1 mixer. Now I forgot to mention actually, for this I'm just using Control and L. That just automatically puts it in the next free space in your mixer. Just a little bit of reverb on this again. Not too much, I just like that kind of open space kind of sound. So let's just put that together. Okay, so this has got our kick, our open hat, our clap. Essentially that's a house beat already to start with, and then we're ready to move on and work with some other percussion and just get a bit more rhythmical, and really kind of develop this beat into something that's going to sound cool when we start putting some melodic ideas down.